Elmet Enthrop was probably one of the best farmers advocates that I've ever experienced, but he would always say to Keith, just remember that if you can't stand up and be prepared to lose your job or get fired as a result of his work on behalf of farmers and ranchers, he would never be a successful advocate. Well, I think he's followed that, and I think he's succeeded in that realm of what he stands for. Since he's worked exclusively with landowners and agricultural organizations on a wide range of agricultural law cases, he isn't working for the oil and gas side one day and then a farmer the next. And I appreciate that. There's very few of them in the province. Since he worked exclusively for landowners, he's also done cases in the Court of Appeal, Court of Queen's Bench, Alberta Provincial Court, Municipal Development Appeals, Surface Rights Board hearings. Just remember that if you have to go to a Surface Rights Board, there's your man. I would like to summarize this up. That, find my summary sheet. That's what I do. I carry too many papers. Here it is. In summary, Keith has recently completed a legal review and analysis and research on these bills. I have personally read them. I've personally read his research paper. And as president of the Alberta Surface Rights Group, our organization fully endorses his interpretations of these bills. Yes, we have sat and opposed some MLAs that are here tonight. Bill 19, Bill 36 never had any endorsement from numerous agricultural organizations. We were there to participate, but we felt it was democracy by invitation with a predetermined outcome. We did not endorse Bill 36. I can give you 12 organizations that we met with the same position that Evan has taken over from Dave Coots, and we met them and we told them this is wrong, it's not going to work. Is my 5 minutes even close here? But I will wrap it up and say that why are we here with these bills tonight that were ill-conceived, ill-thought out, and why do we have to have bills rushed through like Bill 24 in 30 days that took away all our pore space property rights? That's theft. I'll hand the stage over to Keith. He does a lot better job than I do, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What I would like to begin with is sort of ask you to all clear your minds for a minute, because I want to help you see what I see when I analyze Bill 36, Bill 19, Bill 50, and Bill 24. I want you to be able to see what I see when I apply my legal training, when I apply my experience working in government, and apply my experience representing many of the people like you who are in this room. Joe, can you advance the slide, please? What I want you to ask yourself is, what kind of relationship do you want to have with your government? And what role do you want your government and its officials to have over your land, your business, your activities, and your life? Because that's fundamentally the issue that these bills raise, and particularly Bill 36. Now, there are times in our history, and they occur rarely, thank goodness, where governments put together pieces of legislation or a package of legislation that, whether intended or not, seek to fundamentally change and redefine your relationship with government and government's role in your lives. And it's my contention, regretfully, that these bills do that. I want to emphasize something at the outset. When I first read Bill 19, which was the first one in the trilogy. I didn't read it looking to find that your rights to compensation under the Expropriation Act had been removed. That's not what I was thinking I was going to find. That's not what I was looking to see. I was looking to see how the legislation balanced the government's new powers to freeze your land with your property rights and protections for you as citizens for giving up your rights for a public good. I kept turning the page, expecting to see it, and I didn't find it. And I remember I contacted Ray Prinz, I don't know if Ray's here tonight, sent him an email confidentially urging him to put fairness into the legislation and balance. Contacted Berlin Olson. I got the door slammed in my face every time. These laws fundamentally redefine the relationship that you're going to have with government in the future and the role that government's going to have in your lives. That is not what I was looking for. That's what the law says. Next slide. Let's get something clear right out of the get-go. I do not question for a minute Dr. Morton's intentions, nor Mr. Berger's. But let's make something equally clear. Intentions don't matter. Actions do. There's lots of people. History is full of examples of people who had good intentions. The guy who stole gas from one of your fuel tanks on your farm might have convinced himself he had good intentions. So good intentions aren't the issue. It's the actions. And to me, there's no doubt that the government of Alberta has good intentions. But the intentions don't do anything the actions do. And the actions are the new laws, the powers, the changes to rights and the policies. And they're going to determine what living and working in Alberta in the future will be. And that is why, first I wasn't going to do anything about this. And some of you have heard me speak, have heard me say this. I looked at these laws, and I said, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Again, I'm not questioning Dr. Morton's intentions. I'm questioning the actions, the law they drafted, the legalese. And I tried to convince myself that, let somebody else worry about this. Just carry on with your busy law practice. But then I looked around and I realized I have a family and 4 kids. My oldest son, who's here tonight, 16, youngest is 6. And I went, holy smokes, it's not about me anymore. It's about my kids and the next generation. And that's why I went on the road. Because I felt I had a duty as a lawyer, as someone who's spent his career serving the rural communities and the resource industries, to share with you and enlighten you on what I saw. So how did we get here? Next slide. Sorry, Joe. We're working 2 monitors here, one so I can see without turning around, and Joe's working the other. You're there first. I saw those myths and facts things, and I'm pleased they're trying to do that. But I've read them a number of times. I've seen the different variations of them. I wasn't expecting they'd use them tonight, but they did. That's fine. But there's nothing in there that changes my view. There's nothing in there that, in my view, is legally accurate, and I could take you to way more detail than you'd want to show you why. So let's deal with some of the high points. First of all, the land use framework actually started in 2005. I was working for the agricultural groups at the time, advising them on it through 2005, 2006, and into 2007. In any event, don't confuse in your mind those consultations on the land use framework with Bill 36. And the reason I say that is, throughout those consultations, and I've read every single one of those consultation documents. In fact, one of my jobs when I worked for the Intensive Livestock Working Group, all the commodity groups, was to brief the commodity group producer who was going into the land use strategy session and debrief him after and write up for the next one and coordinate it all. Okay, so I know what happened in those consultations. And no one said, government, give the cabinet complete power to rescind land use rights, water licenses, oil and gas leases, development rights, grazing leases, timber agreements, etc. No one said take